This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
It's precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Anjana Dodangoda, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. President Wickremesinghe vows to implement strategy for modern commercial industrialization throughout Sri Lanka. The President to address G77 Plus China Leaders Summit in Cuba. Over 257,000 more beneficiaries to receive Aswasuma payments by tomorrow. Energy Minister reveals fuel cost breakdown to address reports of unreasonable profits. Water levels of Kudaganga and Nilwala River on the rise. Improvement of Kalani Valley Railway Line was commenced today. And in world news, Japan launches rocket carrying Moon Sniper lunar lander. And in sports, historic moment for Sri Lanka with T20 series triumph over England. Now the local news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that by drawing inspiration from the success of the Biagama Free Trade Zone, a comprehensive strategy for modern commercial industrialization will be implemented throughout the country. This initiative aims to propel the nation towards rapid development within the next 15 to 20 years, he said, participating in the centenary celebration ceremony of Al Mubarak Central College yesterday. The President highlighted that the once underdeveloped Biagama area has made remarkable progress, largely attributed to the establishment of the trade zone. His vision extends to transforming Sri Lanka into an attractive investment destination, thus creating a wealth of fresh opportunities for global investors. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also pointed out that several locations, including Bingiria, Iranavilla, Hambantota, Kandy, Trincomalee, and the Northern Province have already been identified for the establishment of industrial zones. The President affirmed the government's commitment to expedite this process, transforming these areas into thriving commercial sites. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semesinghe said, as the second phase of the Aswasuma Welfare Benefits Program, a payment of 1,550 million rupees for another 257,170 beneficiaries has been paid to state banks for the month of July. In a post on the social media platform X, the State Minister emphasized that accordingly, the banks will credit the payments to the beneficiary accounts by tomorrow. Furthermore, Semesinghe mentioned that the Welfare Benefits Board will make the payments for the balance beneficiaries after the verification of the accounts. It is possible to make the payment for the month of August in one go for all beneficiaries after the payment for the month of July is completed, he added. In the first phase of the Welfare Benefits Program, 791,000 beneficiaries have been paid a total amount of 5,016 million rupees, while in the second phase, a total of 1,048,170 families were already paid 6.6 million rupees by the government, according to the State Minister. Moreover, Semesinghe expressed that upon completion of surveys related to appeals and objections, payments will be made to all beneficiaries. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara emphasizes that the maximum profit margin allowed for any fuel supplier is 4% per litre, as in the fuel price formula adopted. Talking into social media platform X, Wijesekara stated that he has tabled the fuel cost breakdown of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Lanka Indian Oil Company and Sinopec after the price revision implemented on September 1st. Furthermore, he expressed hopes that this would clear the misleading and false statements made by various individuals on unreasonable profits gained by other suppliers and the CPC, adding that the maximum profit margin allowed for any fuel supplier is 4% per litre as per the fuel price formula adopted. In addition, the minister asserted that the maximum retail price for fuel has been set by the Ministry of Power and Energy every month, and any supplier can sell their products below the maximum price. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, the Irrigation Department says the water levels of Kudaganga and Nilvala River are now on the rise as heavy rainfall continues. According to the department's report issued at 9:30 a.m. today on water levels and rainfall situation in major rivers, the water levels of these two water bodies have reached minor flood levels at Kalavelwala and Thalgahangoda gauging stations. Meanwhile, the Met Department warned that heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are possible in parts of the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces, as well as in Galle, Matara, Puttalam and Nuwara districts. Due to the active southwest monsoon conditions over the island, the southwestern parts of the island are likely to continue to experience torrential rainfall, the Met Department said further in its advisory. Restoration of Kalani Valley Railway Line was commenced by Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena today at Homagama Station. This project is expected to be completed within 2-year period by using the removed railway tracks of the Northern Railway line. Currently, the condition of the Kalani Valley line is highly deteriorated and strict speed limits are implemented to prevent accidents. It is expected to use 2,500 rail tracks and concrete sleepers amounting 26,000 to be used to restore 59-kilometer long track leading from Maradana to Avisavela. Estimated cost of 1.2 billion rupees will be spent on the project. Abrar Education Foundation of Beruwala is organizing a scholarship distribution program for 50 students of low-income families on 9th of this month at 4 p.m. at Samrifai Hajiar Mahavidyalaya in Beruwala, Maligahera. MP Imtiaz Bakir Maka said that this event will be participated by Turkey Ambassador Ardemet Sekojos and Ambassador of Palestine, Dr. Zohir Hamdullah Zaid. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe is set to depart for Cuba to address the G77 plus China Leaders Summit next week. This summit themed current development challenges, role of science, technology and innovation is scheduled for September 15 to 16, 2023 in Havana, Cuba. President Wickremesinghe's participation in the summit comes as a result of an official invitation from Cuban President. Alongside the summit, there are plans for bilateral discussions between President Wickremesinghe and the Cuban President to further strengthen the cooperation between Sri Lanka and Cuba. The G77 China Leaders Summit represents the largest intra-governmental coalition of 134 developing nations as recognized by the United Nations. It serves as a platform for southern countries to voice and promote their shared economic interests while enhancing their collaborative negotiating capabilities. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the National Building Research Organization has issued an amber landslide early warning for several areas in 2 districts, Kalutara and Ratnapura, effective for 24 hours ending at 4 p.m. today. Meanwhile, Level 1 warnings have been issued for several areas in the districts of Galle, Kalutara, Kandy, Kegalle and Ratnapura. Accordingly, people living in these areas are urged to be on alert about the possibilities of landslides, slope failures, rock falls, cutting failures and ground subsidence. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
Moving on to the headlines of the world news. Japan launches rocket-carrying moon sniper lunar lander. Mexico's top court decriminalizes abortion. Moderna says updated COVID vaccine is effective against newer variant. Now the world news in detail. Japan has launched a rocket carrying its lunar exploration spacecraft as the country looks to become the world's fifth to land on the moon. The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency said the homegrown H-2A rocket took off from Tanegashima Space Center in southern Japan on Thursday and successfully released a smart lander for investigating moon. Unfavorable weather led to 3 postponements in a week last month. Dubbed the Moon Sniper, Japan aims to land SLIM within 100 meters of its target site on the lunar surface. That is much less than the usual range of several kilometers. Mexico's Supreme Court ruled to federally decriminalize abortion on Wednesday, finding that the current ban on the procedure is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court said on social media the first chamber of the court ruled that the legal system that penalizes abortion in the federal criminal code is unconstitutional since it violates the human rights of women and people with the capacity to gestate. Abortion has already been decriminalized in 12 states in Mexico. The most recent ruling, which took place in the central state of Aguascalientes just days ago, was lauded online, Reuters reported, with rights activists posting green hearts on social media. The hearts represent the so-called Green Wave, the social movement for reproductive rights that has swept Latin America since the start of this century. Moderna yesterday said clinical trial data showed its updated COVID-19 vaccine will likely be effective against the highly mutated BA.2.86 subvariant of the coronavirus that has raised fears of a resurgence of infections. The company said its shot generated an 8.7-fold increase in neutralizing antibodies in humans against BA.2.86, which is being tracked by the World Health Organization and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That ends world news. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the world news once again. Japan launches rocket-carrying moon sniper lunar lander. Mexico's top court decriminalizes abortion. Moderna says updated COVID vaccine is effective against newer variant. That was World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalusittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 135,000 rupees. Contact 037-7500-500.
A Thai embassy-sponsored delegation looking for business opportunities in Sri Lanka visited the Hambantota International Port last week. The main focus of the visit was to identify potential investment opportunities at the port for investors from Thailand. Thai companies represented amongst the group were Pepara Technology, Forward Management Services, CO2 Innovation and NC Holidays. A detailed presentation on business opportunities at HIP was made to the delegates by Tissa Wickramasinghe, COO of HIPG. That was Development News.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
Moving on to sports news, inspirational captain Chamari Athapattu led the way yet again as Sri Lanka's women's team created history on Wednesday by recording their first ever series triumph over England in any format. The historic 2-1 series triumph came courtesy of a dominant 7-wicket victory over Heather Knight's side in a third T20I in Derby, and it was no surprise to see Athapattu dominate proceedings. Athapattu picked up 3 valuable wickets to help skittle England for just 116 and then contributed an excellent 44 from just 28 deliveries to ensure Sri Lanka chased down the winning target with 3 overs to spare. It was no surprise that Athapattu was adjudged player of the match and the player of the series for her superb all-round performances, with the Sri Lanka captain totalling 114 runs and 5 wickets over the 3 matches. That was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lankan Airlines celebrated 44 years of soaring the skies together with the Sri Lankan Airlines family and loyal customers. Multi-religious ceremonies marked the special occasion for members of the Sri Lankan family, who also paid it forward to the community with a blood donation drive. Sri Lankans' valued customers were meanwhile made a part of the festivities with incredible discounts of up to 44% off on airfares. 2 lucky top-tier members of Sri Lankan Airlines frequent fly program, Fly Smiles, were also rewarded with 44,000 free miles each at the Bandaranaike International Airport, giving customers 44 plus reasons to continue flying Sri Lankan Airlines. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, Manila-based Asian Development Bank has budget support and a small and medium enterprise credit in the pipeline for Sri Lanka, which can be given after an International Monetary Fund program review is concluded. Country Director Takafumi Kadano said the small and medium enterprise credit could be about $100 million. ADB also has in the pipeline other policy-based lending such as finance, energy, water tourism, trade and climate change. ADB's Director General South Asian Department, Kenichi Yokoyama, told a hybrid forum organized by the lender in Colombo. That was economic news.
Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters are likely at some places in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Puttalam, Galle and Matara districts. Several spells of showers may occur in Mannar and Hambantota districts and in north-central province. Fairly strong winds, about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north-central and northwestern provinces, and in Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. President Wickremesinghe vows to implement strategy for modern commercial industrialization throughout Sri Lanka. The president to address G77 Plus China Leaders Summit in Cuba. Over 257,000 more beneficiaries to receive Asvasuma payments by tomorrow. Energy Minister reveals fuel cost breakdown to address reports of unreasonable profits. Water levels of Kudaganga and Nilwala River on the rise. Improvement of Kalani Valley Railway line was commenced today. With that, we conclude the news.